Now, the Sustainable Development Week is coming up on the 1st of June. And with me in the studio is Team Environment. Karibuni, gentlemen. I've got with me Mathew Ochanda, who's the team leader, and Charles Lukania, who's the secretary of the organization. Gentlemen, let's take a deep dive into this. What exactly is Team Environment?
TEAMEnvironment Kenya is the National Youth Environment and Conservation Movement. We embarked on an aggressive mission to conserving our environment in its totality to ensure that we have proper solid waste management systems, which has been a big challenge, and significantly helping in increasing the forest cover through our massive county and countrywide tree planting expeditions.
Okay, so how long have you been in existence, and why did you have to form Team Environment? I mean, there are very many initiatives out there. Why Team Environment? When did you begin?
Team Environment is, we are a formation of youth. We realized 3-4 years ago there was a gap in terms of the youth really getting involved and engaged in conservation matters and initiatives. And therefore, having that understanding, we teamed up together with my colleagues and friends who are like-minded, and we did this formation. And we did a consortium, a conglomeration of individuals, organizations, entities, and people that are environmental enthusiasts to champion the cause of nature and its conservation.
All right, Matthew, so are you located in Nairobi? Are you countrywide? Is it free membership to everybody? How exactly does Team Environment operate?
We are based in Nairobi. That's where we are headquartered, but we have chapters in the 9 counties that we have executed our program. We have conducted our programs in a number of counties for the last 3 years successfully, and have a track record of having done close to 680,000 tree seedings. That's on record. Of most recent, we were doing a program in Meru County, at whole week 20,000 tree planting expedition, which was not a success completely because of the erratic weather conditions that we have experienced in the past.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Lukania, karibu sana to the show. I just want to rope you in. How exactly are the youth involved in Team Environment? Because you've talked about planting how many hundreds of thousands of trees?
680,000. But this year we are hoping, we had challenged ourselves to doing 1 million.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the road to 1 million, Lukania, how exactly are you involved in the youth, and are the youth involved in the first place?
Yes. In Team Environment Kenya, I think it has played a bigger role in terms of organizing the youths to such a cause. Ideally, most people, it is rare to get such activities. So most of the young people have been able to get an opportunity to participate in such conservation activities through the expeditions which have been organized in Nakuru, Kisumu, Meru, Makueni. And it is through this even student organizations have been able to get interest to participate. And out of this, we are able now to practically engage the young people in environment issues. They go to communities and see the problems which are there, and we sit together, we see how we can come up with solutions.
All right. Yeah. So we do know that the SDGs began in 2015. Yeah. So my question to you is, how does the SDGs or either of their goals align with Team Environment's initiatives?
Yeah, we have been involved even in the transition from the MDGs to SDGs in the year 2015, where we mobilized a number of organizations who are involved to contribute their input before we reached the 17 SDGs. And currently, we work with a number of organizations which support various SDGs, like SDG on education, and our core is clearly environment, which is SDG number 13. We also work on SDG number 11, on sustainable cities, and partnership, which is SDG number 17, where even we are able now to partner with media organizations to highlight and create more awareness on the SDG. So we cut across a number of SDGs because environment is cross-cutting, and whenever we work with a partner who a particular SDG is core, we try to highlight, even if it's on issues of decent employment, human trafficking. So we partner with a number of organizations to highlight this so that we look at environment in totality.
I do agree with you, Charles, that partnership is key to this cause. The environment and climate change is all our responsibility individually and collectively. Yes. So now over to you, Matthew. How long will the Sustainable Development Week take, and what do you aim to achieve at the end of it?
Sustainable Development Goals Week was conceptualized within us 3 years ago. And the vision that we had, having had a very minimal, even with the Millennium Development Goals, they came and passed, and as a very insignificant fraction, which you cannot quantify, really got to know what they were all about. And 3 years ago, SDGs came into the scene and the bigger picture of it, and they were perceived to be a government initiative, the Vision 2030, all manner of great development that we have seen over the years. And only to realize that SDGs are ideally socio-economic and environmental. They are three-pillared, and they're a global agenda. And for the government to realize the Vision 2030, the youth, which are the largest populace, play a very critical and significant role. And the slogan of SDG is about leaving no one behind, and therefore wanting to partner with government and support agencies and various organizations. We were like, why not? And so we thought of a whole week initiative and activity which runs from Monday through to Saturday. And it involves, we're going to be having dialogues. They're called SDG dialogues or debates. Its undertone, it's anchored on, in a simple way, creating awareness. What are the SDGs? And ideally, let's start with what is sustainability.
Exactly. Because
sustainability is simply defined as being able to meet the needs of the present without jeopardizing the future generations to meet their very own needs. And we have had development activities in many places. And government, being government, they really, in all humility, have not been able to really be careful to ensure that we have sustainability, that we have the future generations really living to see, for instance, the wildlife that we have, enjoying the beautiful environment that we have. And so that's why we have had careless desertification, or whatever, how do you call it, deforestation. I mean, cutting down trees mercilessly even in very important places like water towers, and not being very careful. So our philosophy as TEAMEnvironment Kenya is to leave a heritage for future generations of a cleaner, greener, food and water secure environment of both flora, fauna and aquatic life. So you realize with that, we would want to comprehensively ensure that we take a role and a position to ensure that our environment in totality is preserved, it's conserved, it's restored and rehabilitated, not just for ourselves, but for posterity.
In brief, sustainability of the environment and the populace.
Yes.
Ochanda and Charles, this is very invigorating. We'll be taking a short break with officials from TEAMEnvironment, and we'll be right back. Keep it switched as we delve deeper in finding out how the Big Four agenda aligns with their initiatives. Keep it switched. Welcome back to Morning Live. On set, I'm joined by TEAMEnvironment, Mathew Ochanda and Charles Lukanya. Now, gentlemen, before the break, we talked about the Big Four agenda. How exactly is Team 4's initiative in line with the Big Four agenda, if any or at all?
Thank you. Maybe to start is that the Big Four agenda, ideally, are a small fraction of the comprehensive sustainable development goals. Because we speak about food security, which is number 2. We speak about universal healthcare, which is number 3, good health and well-being, we speak about manufacturing, which is ideally industrialization, SDG number 9. Then finally, big 4 is manufacturing.
Yes.
Housing, affordable housing.
Affordable housing.
Ideally, it falls under infrastructural development. And so these are the big 4 initiatives that the government thought in its wisdom would help take our development at the next level. And therefore, coming into play with the comprehensive awareness question on SDGs, we really have the big 4 agenda anchored in all that we're wanting to do, so that we can get to let the masses know. And this ranges from all age groups. And in fact, front runners in our initiative, a Saturday event which my colleague will speak about, is the people with disability. So we'll bring them on board to really have them speak out of their many challenges and how they are important to ensuring that all this is realized. Yeah. So we really have wished, hoped and prayed that in all that we are doing, we'll be able to get really government supporting us, because in return, the big 4 agenda will be realized.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks for that, Mathew. In fact, I'll come to support later on in this interview, but you touched on a very interesting point there, persons with disabilities. So, Charles, how exactly are PWDs involved in team environment?
Yes, one thing that we have to understand in most of our organizations, we need to be sensitive to various inequalities. SDG number, is it 11? It's touching on inequality, and currently there has been a lot of neglect in terms of involvement, even consideration in most of this, but under Team Environment Kenya, even when we go to tree planting, there was a comment when we were involved in one of these tree planting campaigns, one of the PWDs who is visually impaired, he was telling me, you know, Charles, you've made me plant tree. It has been so many years, no one has ever just taken me out and told me I can plant a tree. So as much as people with disabilities might be seen like they should not be involved, one of key of SDG Week slogan we are taking is leave no one behind. Everyone has a part to play. Even the PWDs have a role to play in conserving the environment. Yeah. And if the environment is good, everyone feels very happy.
Great, and that's really poignant. Leave no one behind. How exactly are the school children in primary and also in tertiary institutions, university involved? Are they involved?
Yeah, at the primary, we intend to reach the primary. Currently, we are still very small because of funding, so our operations are very minimal. But we intend to reach to schools, set up the Green Schools Club, do tree nurseries, so that we involve the kids in the actual potting of the, because many people are given trees, because they are bought at a particular nursery. They don't know what it takes to grow this tree, so they don't have any connection. Yeah. So we are involving the kids to know the procedure. Yeah. You first do the potting, get the seeds, put it in, and all these we are creating an environment lab in the schools where children now understand various science concepts, the mathematics through these environment initiatives. And we intend also to use the schools as we go out to the tree planting expeditions. Yeah. We use the schools as a place because it's a community face. Yeah. We go with them to plant the trees also.
Thanks for that, Charles. Yeah. So I have a two-part question. So I think Mathew will take one and you'll take one. So how exactly can the general public be involved in this? That's the first part of the question. Now the second part to you, Mathew, is growing trees is one thing. How do we maintain them? Gentlemen.
Thank you so much for that great question. As we grow trees, which has been done over the years, what our vantage point is the fact that we ceased from planting trees, but we are growing them. And for the sustainability of our projects and the record that we have has been anchored in schools and institutions because of the Adopt a Tree initiative that we established 3 years ago, so that we can be able to really keep a track of every tree that was planted. And in support of the big four, one of the big four agenda, which is food security, we're not just into planting trees, but we are growing trees that are of value. For instance, we are into schools and are encouraging the growing of fruit trees. You give kids in a school to plant fruit trees, they really know the importance of fruits and its nutrition value to supplementing in their dietary intake. And therefore, when you tell a kid the avocado you ate at home during dinner or during lunch, or the packaged fruit, orange, mango, whatever brand you take, is from this plant. And therefore, as we are growing it with your institution, please watch over it, because as it grows to maturity, it's going to produce fruits that you will enjoy and people after you. And so that, in a way, complements one of the government Big Four agenda. And we have ensured and are working to ensure that the larger populace are involved in our activities. First and foremost, before we engage on any expedition, we usually prepare for at least a month, and we do an awareness creation. You see, it's possible that you are here because of the nature of your work and commitment. You can't come with us to Meru or to Trans Nzoia, Kitale, where we were last year for 2 weeks, and we planted. We were there on a 20,000 planting expedition, but we only able to plant 12,800 with great amount of challenge. I had a team of 16 from Nairobi, and we hacked it by God's help and grace. So how do we have the populace involved? While you can't come with us, we have an account to which you can send in your donation. You can adopt a tree with 200 shillings, or with 1,000. We even will give you a franchise that we used for marketing the program. So we give ourselves at least 1 month. So you're not a ad hoc organization, just wake up. So we engage comprehensively the county government, the communities, the schools, institutions, and so that by your 1,000, 5 tree seedlings will be grown on your behalf. And even for the SDGs week, we started a Twitter chat, an online engagement and conversation on Monday. And we have templates of SDG 1 to 17. Each and every day has been having its own. Today we're speaking about good jobs and economic growth. Decent jobs and economic
SDG number
8. Decent jobs and economic growth. And so that's we are going up to the 17th. We only take a break on Sunday to ensure, so that in that way we really have the larger masses, populace, online and offline, really getting to be engaged. And such forums, we're really able to, as we speak about all this, they really get to know what it's all about, and maybe given time now or in future, we'll be able now to make it clear how can they be involved.
Okay, Matthew. So now in a nutshell, knowledge transfer. How are the trees maintained?
The trees maintenance is first, like he said, everyone adopts each their own tree. You have to fence your tree. We have to use creative means. Currently, we are encouraging the use of, we collect this PET bottle. And you put water and you put it, you dig it beside your tree. So we try to adopt innovative water conserving technology so that we can able to irrigate, because after these rains, we'll have a longer period of drought. And during this time, most of the challenge with trees is normally either attacked by animals, domestic animals, goats, cows, and another thing, vandalism by kids who are playing around with games and football. And then water challenge. If that is sorted and it is budgeted for, even during our tree planting expedition, I think we will ensure greater survival rate. And apart from that, also we are trying to use creative means to engage, because it's mostly youth-led. And you know, tree planting can be very boring to youths, because they see no, this tree will take me 15 years. And, you know, most young people want
It's the now generation.
Things like, you know, it's a switch on, off, So we try to use artistic means like music, poetry, graffiti to depict the message so that it's always in our mind that it is our responsibility to take charge and yes.
Thank you, Charles. So just briefly as we wind up the interview, how exactly is the public, or how can the public get involved? The common mwananchi on the ground, how can they get involved?
The common mwananchi can be involved in a myriad of ways, but knowing that from Monday through to Friday, most of us are engaged in our job places, businesses, and works. And so we are working to reach out to schools. We're going to have SDG dialogues and debates and forums in which we will be able to unpack this. Monday through to Monday, Tuesday, on Wednesday, in that very week, is a very significant day. We have the World Environment Day happening on Wednesday, which is it's a global event. It will be on 5th. It's an annual. So every year we have an activity and an event. So we will be in Dandora to plant trees, to have community engagement around the SDGs. On Thursday, we are working or praying to have the week officially, we've been working by ourselves on our own little ways in the past 2 years, but we would want to have this day officially launched either by the CEC, State Department of Planning, who are the custodians of the SDGs, State Department of Planning and National Treasury, or the CEC Sport, and then Friday we can have another event and activity. Then finally, which is ideally the epic of our events, is Saturday. The morning, which I'm going to speak about, is we thought about an initiative, an activity that has a way of coalescing many of us together, irrespective of our social status in the community. So we have we have a sporting activity, cycling and skating. Cycling is for all of us, irrespective of our age group, if you have a bike. Then secondly, skating. Skating is a sporting activity that has not been really projected as much, but it's a very loved and championed sporting activity in the developed world. So we'll be having kids, and we have one of our coordinators too. So one dealing with the bikers, another one dealing with the skaters. And of importance, actually important to note, we have Douglas Sidialo. If you've heard him, he's a national figure. He's a Paralympic. He's a PWP. He lost his sight during the bomb blast happening. So he has walked and worked with us since our inception. And so he's been leading the trail to riding a complex bike. He has a pilot, a pilot, and he does the main cycling. So, and we want to ensure that on that day, anybody and everybody that has a bike and has 1 or 2 hours to himself, he can come. So that, you see, when we're biking, we're also encouraging non-motorized transport, which was green mobility, which was the theme in last year's UNEAS conference, beat pollution. And remember, we being at the UN, we were given bikes at the main gate. They were all over, so that when you come, you can park your big machine wherever and just bike. And biking is something that a larger percent of us can do. So it's an activity that would want everyone and anyone welcome to come participate. That will be from around 8 flag off, and then we finish at around 11. We're doing 54 kilometers all around Nairobi. We've mapped the route, we have done it. Why 54? Because 54 ideally is the number of African countries that adopted.
Mathew, I thank you very much. I thank you very much for that incisive information, which has been quite thorough. I'm being told by my director that we really have to cut this short. But there you have it, Mathew Ochanda and Charles Lukanya from TEAMEnvironment. We do look forward to having a successful event, and indeed all of us are environmental warriors. We'll be back after the break, so keep it switched.